1845.
Here we are.
We're on military time.
Yeah.
Where are we? We're in Tampa, Florida. We're in between two shows of the Illusionists live. And I'm going to do another 21 questions with, this time, Colin Cloud.
Hello.
Or do I have to say Colin McLeod?
No, yeah, well, so I perform under Colin Cloud because my real name's Colin McLeod and it's nice to keep them separate. But whenever we check into a hotel, because my passport has my real name, every receptionist says, and you're Colin McLeod?
McLeod.
McLeod. Don't know why that happens, why that's a thing. But yeah.
The amazing Colin Cloud. Let's not say McLeod. He's a stage mentalist from Scotland who describes himself as a forensic mind reader. And your inspiration is Sherlock Holmes. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
And he was an AGT finalist in 2017, but everyone knows that because everyone was watching and voting. Not
enough. Not enough of you were voting.
Not as much as for the 12-year-old girl.
Yeah.
But I'm sure people were voting. And you did 4 Illusionist tours now. Yeah, amazing. The guy just won't stop. And you're going to do Edinburgh Fringe.
I am.
In the summer with your show Psycho. Logical.
There you go. The logicals in brackets.
I prefer to say Psycho. And then you're also going to do your own theater show, Colin Cloud Live. Or...
Yeah. So I like to play on the name. So like Psychological was, you know, a little bit clever. Then Live, Colin Cloud Live, but die is written between the live. So it's like live, die, you know, keeping you on the edge of your seat. Obviously.
Live to die. No?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you ready for this?
I got my acai bowl. I got my coffee. I mean, could I be any more ready for this?
I mean, I am a bit nervous. I'm just going to admit it. Because you're like, how do you say that? In Dutch, you would say een ongeleid projectiel. Which one?
That's what we say in Scotland as well. That's weird. It's so similar.
This can go anywhere, people. So we're just going to start. Question 1. Who are you? Just swallow your acai.
Hold on a minute. You've just told them who I am and what I do. And now you want me to tell them all that again?
Yes.
So my name's Colin Cloud.
I'm gonna pause you right there.
Yeah.
I mean, who is Colin Cloud? Not so much Colin Cloud on stage and the work resume. Who is Colin Cloud?
Like the real me.
The person.
Rubbing me like a Care Bear. I am... Yeah, so I'm 31 years old.
No, I'm joking. I'm 32.
Yeah.
Go on.
31, from the middle of nowhere in Scotland, right between Glasgow and Edinburgh, a little town called Harthill, which could not be any more rural. And yeah, I grew up never liking magic. I got the Paul Daniels magic kit, but my cousin Karen, she learned to do all the tricks and did them for the family first on Christmas Day. So naturally I hated her and magic.
And now Karen hates you.
Karen's doing okay. She's doing okay.
She found a real job?
No, she's a magician. No, she's not.
Oh.
Yeah, she got a real job. But yeah, so I loved Sherlock Holmes, as you said, and thought I would love to find ways of doing that. Then learned about this thing called mentalism and hypnotism and started learning all those. But I was really shy as a kid and really quiet and like... True, no, genuinely. So I hated giving talks in class, like in English and stuff. I would hate that. I would have nightmares for weeks before like having to stand up in front of people. So hated that idea of actually performing this stuff, but then got into comedy and like loved comedy and wanted to start doing more with that. And then mixed in all the hypnotism and mind reading stuff and have been traveling the world doing this nonsense ever since.
And then all of a sudden you weren't afraid anymore to talk on stage? Because I think maybe a lot of aspiring magicians are watching and they're like, I am actually a little bit afraid to talk on stage. Or, you know, what happened?
Yeah, I need to time when I take a bite of my acai bowl better with your question.
I don't talk as long as you,
no,
so
I was
be
like,
quick.
Yeah, I felt you ending that sentence and I thought, no, swallow this coconut flake. I think for a while, I remember I was at Blackpool Magic Convention. I think I've been like 3 times. But there was one guy, I don't remember his name. I don't really remember much of his act. But at one point he said about nerves at the end of his act, pretend that you're confident until you really are. And I was like, what does that mean? So, but then I remember like being forced to do a show for people and like just pretending to be confident.
Yeah.
And I got through the show and I was like, wow, pretending to be confident worked. And I think it's like, it's like riding a bike. The more you do it, the easier and easier it gets. So like the idea of standing in front of, if you told me when I was 13 that tonight I'm going to stand on stage in front of 3,000 people, I would have cried, I would have hated it, I would have been stressed.
Loved it.
This guy. But yeah, now it's like, I mean, there's always pressure to make sure, because people only see this show probably once, so there's that pressure that you want it to be good, the best version of that show ever, and you want it to be great. But you know, now we're in the wings before we go on and we're joking with each other. The last thing we're really thinking about is, what's my first line, unless we've been off for 2 weeks and you come back and you walk on stage and you go, what do I say here again? Yeah. There's words usually, but nothing's coming out. But no, usually we're getting the energy up backstage, we're being playful, and yeah, I think, so the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Right. Simple as that.
Okay, let's get personal. Any religion?
No. I love the Bono quote where he said, religion gets in the way of God. Right. I love to think there is a God or something. Hopefully this is not it. Hopefully this is like a holding place for something awesome. I don't know. Do you know what? I hope there is a God. I hope so. But definitely not religious at all.
No, okay. What would your job have been if you weren't a magician?
So I studied, genuinely, forensic science. People think I just say that for something to tell journalists.
Because it's a good story.
Yeah, but I did genuinely study forensic science, specialised in criminal profiling. So I probably would have been working in Starbucks. No, although that is a good job, because I drink
it's a big passion of Colin Cloud, Starbucks. I mean, this is actually...
Not Starbucks, but Starbucks was closed, right? So, come on, Starbucks, up your Saturday game. No, I think I would have gone into, like, science. I love chemistry and psychology, so I would have done one of those things. Or maybe, I mean, I love comedy. Comedy is, like, for me, I probably love comedy just a little bit more than magic, mentalism-y stuff.
Right.
Because I think comedy is all about connecting with people through honesty and telling truths. And I think so often what magic does, you're trying to connect with people through deception. And that's tough, you know?
Through so it's lie, basically.
So yeah, I mean, it's a horrible way of saying it. Deception sounds sexier. But yeah, so I think that using, so that's why I try and put so much comedy into what I do. I try not to let the comedy step on the wow moments, because if you were just wanting to laugh, you go just see a comedian. But I want the comedy to drive and connect everyone together. And when people are laughing, we're connected.
So who's your favourite comedian then?
Comedy-wise, at the moment, who have I enjoyed? I mean, Stuart Lee is a guy in the UK who basically tells one joke at the start of his set, then spends the hour dissecting that joke, and it gets funnier and funnier. And the way he is super aware, and that's why I love comedy. Comedians are very aware socially, and I think had I not gotten into comedy, I would still have been an awkward little kid. Because comedy teaches you how to really pay attention. And that's why, like, Sherlock and comedy, like, it's all about being aware and paying attention. Stuart Lee is incredible. He really is. But recently, Nate Bargatze on Netflix had a stand-up special, and that is, he blew my mind. Because it's his character and, you know, how the character drives what he's saying. But the best I have seen recently is James Acaster, who put a 4-part special on Netflix called Repertoire, and it's like his 4 last Edinburgh Fringe shows.
All right.
And the way, I mean, I love watching how comedians start a show and how they interact.
Build up.
Yeah, and he is a master. The 4 ways he opens, and you sit there and think, oh, I wish I had thought of that, because it's so good.
But I think that is also the most difficult part of writing an act, if it's magic or comedy or whatever, the structure of your act, of the thing you want to do, the structure. If you have the structure, you can fill in the blanks, but having a really good structure is very difficult.
Oh, totally.
I feel.
Yeah, no, very much. And even the sort of act that I do with the people I bring up, I never know who I'm going to have on stage.
No.
So whilst the backbone is the same, I never know what little things are going to happen in between, but as long as you have that structure, then yeah, it's safe.
Yeah. Next question. What is your favorite act in the whole wide world?
Favorite act? Magic or non-magic, or?
Doesn't have to be magic. It can be a circus act.
My favorite act. What could I watch over and over? I mean, it's going to be comedians. So I would say Stuart Lee, I could just watch all day. Just in Scotland, 2 big comedians are Kevin Bridges and Frankie Boyle, who some people may know who they are, but they're amazing storytellers, and you know, I really appreciate that. Taylor Swift.
She's also a great comedian.
Yeah, she's
Taylor
hilarious.
Swift. She's
Yeah,
hilarious.
She's got some great what's your name, where are you from stuff. But no, so I love watching acts outside of, but mainly comedy, because there's no barrier there. And I think in magic, a lot of people, the trick comes between them and the person.
Mm-hmm.
They don't use it to connect. It's almost a barrier rather than a bridge. And I think comedy, yeah. So it's, you know, about sharing truths. Magic acts that I loved. One of my favorite magic acts of all time is Paul Daniels' electric chairs routine.
Yes.
You know, the paper balls overhead and people jumping out of the chairs. It is a masterclass in
mind bending.
Oh my god! Like, I could watch that all day, and I watched him. I was lucky enough to see him do it live, at least 7 or 8 times.
Oh really?
Yeah, and it was just absolutely amazing.
So if I would ask you question number 5, who do you look up to? Is this one of those people, or is that someone else?
Who would it be? It's tough. I mean, it's a cop out, but I'd go back to like comedy and have a comedian on the wall. But who else is there actor wise? Or yeah, it would be like a comedy actor who's just great at like
Right.
Yeah, it would be, and there's so many of them that have, you know, influenced me and inspired me. I'm just trying to think. There's no one obvious. I mean, Sherlock Holmes, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle would be up there, you know. But
right. I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What is the biggest or most important show you've ever done in your life? Can I guess?
I bet you guess wrong, but guess.
Oh yeah, I'm going to guess wrong. I would say AGT.
AGT is definitely up there. Royal Variety Show was also amazing, because I was on Britain's Got Talent like 8 years ago. Didn't get anywhere on that, and I'm the first.
You were on Britain's Got Talent?
Yeah, there's a YouTube clip somewhere of me showing my ass cheeks. Don't worry about it. Don't waste your time. So I'm the first person to not win Britain's Got Talent and do Royal Variety Show. So I went the hard way and actually went out and like.
That's okay, girl. I went the hard way for 12 years.
And then you cop out and you do AGT because they ask you nicely enough. No, AGT was amazing, and they very kindly said, you know, they had seen the show, the Illusionists show, and they were like, do you want to do it? And I said no, and then they asked again, and I was like, oh no, and then, you know, Simon and Painter and Neil asked.
Simon and Painter.
Simon the Painter.
They said, you're going and you're going now.
Yeah, but it's like your boss saying you're working Sunday, and you're like, no, I've got plans, and they're like, nah, you're working Sunday. No, it wasn't that bad.
It's good for ticket sales. You go.
But so I went, and they kept. I was annoying because I had all these ideas of what I wanted to do, and they kept going, "Oh, you can't do that. You can't do." And I'm like, "Oh my god, this is going to be tough." Then at one point, I went, "Oh," and I was missing home. I have cats. Did you know that? Yeah. So I was like, I was trying to be awkward, and I went, "Oh, do you know what? Just get me a cat." And then they went, "Well, we can do that." So I thought, I'm dark, mysterious guy with weird hair and like tattoos, wearing all dark. Something cute to contrast that is going to make you go, this guy's trying to be mysterious. Boom, kitten.
But oh, look how cute he is.
Yeah, and so that was me, not the kitten.
You just played the audience really well there.
So AGT was important, but I remember my parents coming to see me do a show maybe like 10 years ago at the Edinburgh Festival in a coffee shop in Edinburgh. In a corner of a coffee shop, I did an hour show for maybe like 30 or 40 people.
Right.
And they were there, and they just looked over the moon to see me do the thing that I love. And that was like the show where I was like, do you know what? If my parents are that supportive of me doing this, then I'm going to go give it a shot and do it as my real job.
Yeah.
So the fact that they've been so supportive of this, like if I told my parents, even though I'm at university studying this, but I want to go be in a magic show, and you know, some parents might be, understandably, like, whoa.
Yeah, is that a good idea? Are you going to be making money?
Yeah, but my parents were just like, if that's what you want to do, go do it. So that's probably like some of the most important shows. But yeah, Royal Variety, AGT, yeah, delighted.
Right. Any rituals or superstition before a show?
I've got one, and that is that my phone battery needs to be above 80%. Sorry, 70%. Otherwise, I show the time on my phone at the start of the show, and I always get paranoid that if the battery's below 70%, it's going to be a bad show. I don't know why. I think a few times, not a bad show, but like just stuff's going to be, you know, troublesome. So now my phone always needs to be above 70% before I go and put my microphone on.
And how do you feel when your phone was above 70% but the show was still? How do you feel about that?
I blame Anne Halim. No, I don't. He's lovely.
We never blame Anne Halim. We love him.
We do sometimes.
Question number 8. What is your favorite theater to perform in the whole wide world? Favorite theater?
Favorite theatre? I mean, the Shaftesbury Avenue Theatre in London was the first time I did the Illusionists for the full Christmas, when Jamie Raven was on Britain's Got Talent. David Williamson was there.
He's
Andrew
brilliant.
Basso, Kevin J. Oh, David Williamson, oh my god, yeah. But that was really the first time I played. I'd played big theatres as like a guest spot in gala shows for like magic conventions and stuff. People are knocking the door because this is real. No, thank you.
What is your favorite type of music or band?
There's this. She's
Taylor Swift.
I was gonna go. She's kind of unknown. No, who do I like? Do you know why I like Taylor Swift? Right, I'll tell you for why, because you didn't ask, but you might have. So, I like her. I don't like going to art galleries. This is going to come full circle. I've just gone. I'll tell you why I like Taylor Swift.
I don't like art galleries.
Yeah, I can't. I don't like looking at the finished product of art. I like understanding why an artist painted what they painted and why they painted. I like understanding the why. Like when you read about how magic works, I don't like just seeing. I don't like knowing how a trick works, but I like knowing why people chose to do certain things in certain ways. I like understanding someone's process. Absolutely. Art galleries rarely offer that. Excuse me. So I'm just like, painting, beautiful, but I want to know why. That's what I'm into. So, what was the question? No, I'm joking. Taylor Swift, on one of her albums, she does this full thing where she, at the end, talks about how she was inspired to write songs. I find that fascinating. But I love like her, Ed Sheeran, but my favourite bands are people like, classic like Led Zeppelin, Guns N' Roses.
Def Leppard.
Def Leppard, yeah, a little bit as of last night. That was a recommendation. Pour Sugar on Me, was that the song?
Yeah.
Yeah, I take requests every night. We've got the secret game in the show that no one knows about. If you come and see the show, Kenny, our sound guy, who is amazing, he and I play a game where I say the lyrics to a song that he doesn't know somewhere in my act, and I try and hide it so that he doesn't spot it, and as the audience leave, he's got to then play that song.
He needs to play that song.
And he's so good at it. He gets it every time.
He's so good. We should really come up with a song that Kenny has never heard of before.
Well, he didn't get it this afternoon.
Oh.
Nah, he didn't get it. Like 1-0 to Colin. Well, I say 1-0, like 1-300 to Colin. But first time ever he didn't get it. But every other song, like, it doesn't matter how awkward I am, he gets it. It's insane. And he admits when he uses Google, which is like twice, so it's like amazing. But I like those bands, got the classics, but then I love more modernly Foo Fighters, then two Scottish bands, Biffy Clyro, Twin Atlantic, and...
Who doesn't know them?
Nay. And I love Mumford & Sons as well, because it always makes me feel like Christmas. It's just so Christmassy.
So the next answer is also going to be Taylor Swift. What or who gives you the most inspiration?
Starbucks coffee. I'm in Starbucks a lot, watching people a lot. And I just get inspiration genuinely from like watching people. And that's where I come up with stuff for the act, in all honesty. I used to learn like psychological tricks and then write presentations for them. Whereas now I do the opposite. I watch everyday life like a comedian would. And go, that's quite fascinating that people do that. I can use that somehow. Write it down. And coming up with ways of doing things is like easy. So it's more the how can I make stuff interesting? What are people into? What's current? Like, you know, what are people doing? And people are on their phones all the time. So then it's like, okay, so how do I then incorporate that? And, you know, so I'm just watching and people watching constantly.
So you're basically a perv making notes in your little book.
I didn't say that. I didn't make it sound like that, did I? No. This guy, again. What's your inspiration? You know, pervert. But no, I do just watch people. People are the inspiration because, like, people are most interested in themselves, right? It's true. So then but you want to make your show current, relevant, real, so people can actually, again, it goes back to what I said, comedy relates through truth, and I want to try and do as much of that as I can. This is much bigger than I first thought it was going to be. This is like...
And it smells gross. What is your favorite city or country to visit? Like, where do you want to go to, or where have you been?
I love New York, I love LA, I love Vegas with friends.
You know, he doesn't like the beach.
No, I can't do it. The beach is not for this guy.
You're so Scottish. Honestly, you always want to walk in the shade. You don't want to sit outside. You're always warm.
It's boiling. We're in Florida. I'm wearing black skinny jeans and basically a jumper. What have I done?
Who does that? It's super warm
because
outside.
I'm Scottish, I have no other clothes. No other clothes. Oh, and people say you love Amsterdam. I have been to Amsterdam.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was good fun.
Where were you?
You know,
Amsterdam. In Amsterdam?
Yeah, I was there.
For how long?
A bit of time. I don't remember.
Oh my god.
It was a while ago.
You don't remember, so I won't ask what you
I like someone said Boston. Yeah, Boston's cool. I'm going to Boston very soon. Toronto is also great. I've spent 2 Christmases in Boston.
And Toronto,
Kitchener.
was so cold.
That was the dream!
Oh.
Toronto.
I've never been as cold in my life as in Toronto.
Toronto was my people's weather.
No, never again. Next time Toronto will be in the summer. Okay, what's your favorite food aside from Starbucks?
Asian fusion. Why is that funny? How good was that restaurant in Toronto? What was it called again?
Oh, the Thai?
What was it called? Pie. P-A-I. Just around from the theatre. Pie?
Was it called Pie?
Pie. I think it was Pie.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But you mean the Thai restaurant? Yeah.
Pad Thai. So good. So Pad Thai, sushi, oatmeal. I love me some oatmeal. Or porridge for people back home who know that I'm saying. True. And acai bowls. That's
healthy stuff.
Yeah, I try. Well, yeah, but it's tough, right? When you're on tour and so I try and be as healthy as possible. And I run a lot, and you run a lot. You've been running.
I've been running for 2 days, people.
Not constantly. That would be ridiculous.
No, since 2 days I run. Yeah. I'm exhausted.
She just got back. Yeah.
My whole body hurts.
Look at her, the makeup hasn't moved though, has it?
Anyway, what is the stupidest thing you've ever done?
Stupidest thing? What, in life?
Do you have a list? Do you have an extra hour?
Stupidest thing I have ever done?
Just in general.
In a show or in...
No, doesn't have to be in a show, but just in life. Yeah, or in a show.
Stupidest thing I've done ever? Oh my goodness. Yeah, there's a list of things that I probably should not mention here because it might be incriminating. Darcy Oak and I have been up to no good a few times. Darcy Oak is one of my favourite illusionists in the world. He's amazing, but he and I, when we're together for any length of time, shenanigans will...
Carnage.
Yeah. Oh, and James Moore.
I just was saying, you and James Moore.
Me, James Moore and I. Oh, also that's going to lead to trouble.
Double trouble.
I think if you put me, Darcy, James, Jamie Raven, and Yoo Ho Jin in the same show, that would just
There won't be a show. One of the shows will start in time.
Oh, and Dan Sperry, throw Sperry into the mix as well. If the six of us were in a show...
That show will never happen.
That would just be carnage.
Because you just won't be here in time, or...
Oh, the number of times Dan Sperry and I have gone to Disneyland together and almost been late because traffic has been so bad. You wouldn't think it, but Dan Sperry loves Disney. And we were late like twice. We were 3 minutes from the show starting, running in, standing in our Disney attire just to open the show and then quickly go get ready. But so sorry for those people who maybe thought, why are they wearing that? But So that's quite a stupid thing.
Pretty stupid. What's your favorite animal?
What do you think it is? It's what you think.
A cat. Oh, duh.
I love my cats.
Yeah, he loves his cats.
Yeah, but not like... You make it sound like I'm crazy.
It's an obsession.
No, hold on. Whoa. I'm not with them right now and I'm surviving.
No, but we can look at them if we want.
Oh, yeah. I have got cameras set up in my house, but that's also like for security and stuff. Because like, if my neighbours know that I ain't home and that, you don't want someone breaking in and stealing your cats. Mainly. It's
not for security. It's just to look at the cats. And then he comes to me and he goes, oh, look, Ava, or what's her name?
Ava.
Ava is laying in her little cat bed. Oh, it's so cute.
To be fair to Ava, it is rather cute.
What do you think people with normal jobs think of magicians?
I think... I'm just going to spit a little bit of agave.
As long as you do it that way.
I think people who have normal jobs... I think some people think that we maybe only do this part-time. I had one guy last year come up and say, so what is it you do for a living? And I'm like...
It's the same thing what Kevin James said. He said, like, people think we only work for the 10 minutes of the day that the act is.
Yeah, but you need to... Right, so first of all, if you do see someone do a 10-minute act that's good, chances are they've been doing that act for like at least 5 years to get it that good. And that's taken a lot of time, practice, effort, thought, etc., etc. So that 10 minutes has like taken so long to get ready. Now, I do 20 minutes, so that's even longer, right? But every year I write a new show for Edinburgh, so that takes time. And it's like, okay, I need to keep ideas fresh, exciting. So even when we're on the road, I write constantly ideas of things that I see happen. New ideas for like what are people going to find interesting, like for the new show and stuff, like what's controversial and different and weird. And you know, people are not only spending their money but also their time to come and see this, so you want to make it good and fun and exciting and the best it can be. But yeah, I think some people think that this is just what we do as a hobby, which is, you know, funny, but also you can understand it because like, but yeah, we are like busy throughout the year, you know. When I'm here maybe 7-8 months of the year on and off. And then all the corporate shows where companies have us go in and speak, perform, present, the TV stuff that we do, the filming, the planning before a TV thing happens. I mean, there's loads of... What you see on stage or on TV has often taken a very long time to get to that point. Yeah. So when we're not on stage, we're often developing stuff off stage as well. And as a female magician, you also know this, yeah? Because at the moment, Sabine is one of the 4 horsemen. For anyone who has seen the movie Now You See Me.
I'm the girl horseman!
I thought you were the guy. I thought you were guy number 2. No? I misjudged it. But yeah, so you're at the moment writing and developing all of that stuff. But yeah, people, you know, normal jobs, I don't know. I mean, I don't really speak to them after the show. Usually we're exhausted and we're like, oh. Unless you rush to the stage door, then I will stay there for as long as people want to chat and stuff. But yeah, I think it's a mix. People just think we're either always on tour or they think we have real jobs as well. And I think either is hilarious. Yeah,
true. What is your life motto?
Give me an example of what you mean by this. Like
is
something
there
you
a
live by?
saying? Yeah, like a saying you live by, or a thing you tell yourself every day, like carpe diem or something corny like that. Like reach for the stars and end in a corner somewhere.
Nothing like that. I mean, this job, being away from your family and stuff, does get that gets hard. Like when you're not living a normal life. I think some people think what we do is glamorous, and it's great that we get to be in Florida and we've got these, you know, lovely hotels and bars.
Someone says never forget that feeling. It's a good one.
To what part? I mean, yeah.
Never forget that feeling.
Yeah, never forget. And that's, I mean, it is amazing, and, you know, we get very well looked after, but being away from your family and stuff sucks, so then you try and make it as fun and as interesting as you can, and you know, I think on something like this, you want to... Rule number 1, don't be a dick. Rule number 2, try and be as nice to everyone and try and make it fun and playful and exciting, and because it is hard and you are away for a long time, and yeah, you want to just enjoy it. And but yeah, as far as a motto goes, nah, I think that's it. Don't be a dick. Try and make everyone as happy.
Your motto is don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Kevin James's motto was live with no regrets, but your motto is don't be a dick.
Oh wait, Kevin's is better than mine. Can I have Kevin's?
Yeah, you just use
what was it again?
Live with no regrets.
And I regret not saying that, ironically. So yeah, apart from that regret, I live with no regrets. Yeah.
What do you do in your spare time?
Listening
to Taylor Swift and go to Starbucks and look at his cats.
Are you answering these questions? Are these rhetorical? Writing. Oh, I'm in the gym a lot. I try and be, at least once a day, and writing constantly, new ideas.
Running and writing, and look at your cats and go to Starbucks.
Have you been stalking me?
A little bit. No, I mean, I've been on this tour with you for like 7 months now, so I sort of know what you're doing.
Yeah.
What do you miss the most when you're on tour?
Cats, parents, family, friends.
Yeah, honestly, what not?
Yeah.
But do you have this thing that you start to miss the craziest things? Like, I really miss my car. Who misses a car?
No, I think it's beyond that though. It's the freedom of the car. It's the fact that if you're in a car, you get all this freedom to do what you want when you want. So it's that. But yeah, I think you miss your own bed. your own duvet, because getting used to a new hotel pillow every night is tough.
I don't have that problem.
First world problems here, right? Hotel pillows are really tough.
I don't have that problem.
No, but some hotel pillows are like really comfortable and some are not. And why don't you have that problem?
Some are just a bit high.
Yeah, I know, like they're
because
brand
then
new.
I just throw them away and I sleep without a pillow.
I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Nay.
What is your favorite movie? We're almost there. It's question 19.
What was my favourite movie? I think I watched Black Panther recently. It was amazing. Black Panther was great. But I remember I overwatched a movie called Vanilla Sky when I was in my teens, because the ending of that movie really messed with my head, with Tom Cruise and Penelope Cruz, I think, and Cameron Diaz. And that, like, this idea of, is it reality or is it like simulated? So anything that messes with my head, maybe not a movie. I mean, I love the BBC Sherlocks. So it's not a movie, but they're 90 minutes, so they're kind of movies.
It's long enough.
So, yeah.
And you're into the whole Marvel situation?
I think for just switching off your brain for 2 hours and just watching some amazing visual effects, the storylines are always the exact same. You know, introduce a new superhero, bit of trouble, save the world, everyone's happy. But it's to switch off is fun.
Right.
I mean, I could go without them, but things like Black Mirror, Sherlock, and clever writing, like League of Gentlemen, anything, like Mark Gatiss is an amazing writer. He wrote some of Doctor Who as well. The storylines and stuff, it's amazing. So I love all that.
Okay, cool. What kind of effects in magic do you hate or think are not deceptive at all?
Not deceptive. Well, anything not practiced enough is going to not be deceptive. But what kind of effects do I hate?
But like, you know, things, you sometimes see people and they all do the same thing. And you're like, please stop doing that.
Yeah. I mean, Darren Brown's a big mentalist in the UK and now soon to be the world.
The world,
yeah, if not already. But I remember growing up trying my best. A lot of people I watched copied Darren's rhythm, timing, words, the scripts that he and Andy Nyman would write together, and they copied it word for word.
Right.
And it was like, oh, I never want to do that. And I've always tried my best to then stay away from that. And that's why on stage, you know, I watched more Jeremy Brett, who played Sherlock in the 1980s, early 90s, who got really angry with people on stage, in the show, because Sherlock was quite an angry guy. So on stage, you see me, I try and be a little bit
aggressive.
Like, aggressive with people. They know it's
funny, like, aggressive.
Funny aggressive, right? Which is just a different character. And I think anything. So it says, what effects do you hate? It's not effects, but presentations that I hate are ones where the person has spent all the time learning the trick, and then they've just taken someone else's presentation. Because I think a lot of magicians, they'll go to a magic convention, they all buy a trick, right? Let's say 10 people buy the trick. 9 people go put it in the drawer.
10 people buy a floating table.
Right, 10 people buy it. 9 of them go put it in their drawer, somehow it's collapsed really small. One person goes out for 2 years and they make the best routine ever. The other 9 then see them do that routine and they go,
take it out of the drawer.
But then they go, oh, it can be done well. And they all think because they bought it as well, they have the right to that presentation. So I don't hate any effect, but I hate sometimes the mentality of people. And this is why comedy's so good. If a comedian steals another comedian's jokes, they'll get pulled up about it and they will get ridiculed, and it's not on. Right. And I think magicians could be better at putting a little bit more time, thought, effort and energy into creating their own
material.
Yeah.
Just and also their own character.
I think so. Otherwise it dies. Like, otherwise it's a dying art form because people are just not even reinventing the wheel. They're, you know, making
more wheels.
More wheels, poorer.
We have enough wheels.
Penny farthings all over the place.
Oh.
30 minutes to go.
Half hour. What would you say to the young version of Colin Cloud? If you saw yourself now and you were like 6.
Yeah, if I was seeing myself now, I would think about all the times where people at school were assholes to you for like loving this thing that they couldn't get. The fact that I loved learning at school and, you know, bullies, you know, taking the crap out of you for like loving being into magic, being into weird stuff. I would go back and, you know, tell myself, it's going to be fine.
Like it doesn't matter.
It's going to be fine. Yeah, because I think for a lot of people that could have deterred them, put them off wanting to do that thing because of being embarrassed and stuff. And I was shy at school, and there were people at school who were just dicks. So it's like, yeah, if you listen to that too much, it can derail you. So I think to go back and tell myself, just keep doing what you're doing, then yeah. And I think, you know, it's all about who you surround yourself with in life. And I mentioned my parents already, and the fact that they are and were so supportive is what helped me stay on, you know, the tracks that I wanted to stay on. So yeah, delighted for that. But I would tell myself, you know, it's going to be fine, keep doing what you're doing. And you know, you wish you could, and this is what everyone watching this should do, you should visualize where do you want to be in 10 years or 5 years, and then it's like, what do I do to get, if that's what you really want to do it, don't just think about it. What do you need to go and actively do to make that happen?
Yeah.
And then go do it. Yeah. Like you as female magician, because I did say I wanted to speak about this because it does fascinate me, because sometimes when we do the Illusionists, people do mention that there aren't as many women in magic. There are lots of women in magic. It just so happens sometimes those women are the directors, are working, you know, doing some of the hard stuff backstage that you never see, but is just as important as the rest of the show. Yeah. Assistants, typically, not always, are female.
Yeah.
And now more women are moving into being, you know, moving from, we've seen it a bit recently, from assistant to magician. Yeah. And like, why do you think that is? Or I'm turning the tables a little bit, but why? Did you always want to do that? Did it grow on you?
No. But I never thought of being in magic. Everything in my life just happened to me. And that sounds like a girl without a plan, but basically the only thing I really wanted when I was young was to be in the Holland Show Ballet. That was what I wanted. I didn't care about anything else. I wanted to be in the Holland Show Ballet, and I wanted to do the dinner show. Yeah. And I did, you know, I was 18, and then I got into the Holland Show Ballet as the youngest person ever in Holland. And so that was the goal was achieved for me. But I'm always a person, I like to reinvent myself, and I like to a little bit throw myself out there and go like, holy peep, what do I have to do now to make this happen? And there was a magician in the show, and very sad, on opening night, one of her assistants, this was a female, one of her assistants broke her ankle, and they just looked around the ballet and they just went, okay, you have half an hour to do 4 illusions. And I thought, okay, you know, it was just my job. And then I did it, and I did Fire Cage, was the very first illusion I've ever done in my life. And I came out, and I just saw the look of awe and astonishment, by the words of Jeff Hobson. And then I just thought, oh, this is great. This is hilarious. People have no idea where I came from. Yeah. And but that was just such a funny... Yeah. But before that, I never watched any magic. I know that started after. Yeah. And then, you know, I worked with so many magicians. It's almost hilarious. Yeah. But also good in a way, because they've all taught me several things. And then it just sort of happened that they asked me to be, and Jonathan Goodwin played a great role in that, to ask me for this, and Hans Klok, by the way, as well, I should not forget him, to ask me to be a leading role in Impossible straight into the West End. Yeah. And that was one of the moments where I went, okay, I'm just going to do this, but throwing myself out there in front of the wolves. Yeah. Like,
Yeah, and I think sometimes, magicians can also be, most magicians are, or have been weirdos at some point. You get into magic because you're socially a bit awkward, and it's a way of connecting. Not always, but you know, 99.9999% of the time, right? Yeah. I was one of them. Without the comedy, if that hadn't happened, I would be still, you know, weirder than I am now, if you can imagine that. But here's the thing, we all get into magic in different ways, and I see some magicians now get annoyed, bitter, etc., because they feel like, oh, they're in that show, I didn't get that gig. Or they maybe see you go from being an assistant to, well, why is she now a magician? Fact is, we all get into magic in different ways, for different reasons. We all grow, evolve, and, you know, we build and build and build. Yeah. And you've worked your ass off to now be in that position, you know? It's not like it just overnight was that. You've worked really hard.
I work in magic since I was 18, and I'm now 32, so I've been there, you know?
Exactly. And you're now probably more experienced than, or in front of an audience than most magicians. Yes. And that's not to say that those magicians couldn't be at some point more experienced. It just so happens that you've now evolved yourself to the point where you've done the magic assistant. And by the way, that role is super hard. Sometimes it's harder than the role of the magician. on stage, right?
Sometimes.
So the fact that you've mastered that,
yes.
So now it makes perfect sense that you now get to go and do, you know, be in the spotlight and be one of the 4 leads in Now You See Me.
Yeah,
which is very exciting.
I mean, it's crazy.
Great. It's great to now see more females getting the recognition they deserve, and hopefully that will spawn a new generation of, you know, male and females to get into magic, which will then spawn, you know, a wider growth of the magic art form, which will in turn help it to continue to grow and evolve so that it does last for years to come. Because with technology now, I mean, this phone can speak to anyone in the world, anywhere. And I mean, that's the most magic thing ever.
Yeah.
So we need to be thinking of new ways. And the only way of doing that, if you keep doing what you're doing over and over again, you get the same results. And it's time we start doing things a bit differently.
Yeah, and we, like you said, we just need to keep the art form alive.
Absolutely.
If it's a male or a female, or if it's mentalism or comedy magic or grand illusions, we just need to keep the art form alive.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
But let's wrap this up, because
okay, so,
we have a show to do.
Yeah, we do. But everything we spoke about, the shows and stuff, you can go to colincloud.com. And it's all there for people that were asking about my show information and the messages.
If you want to go to Fringe.
Yeah, just go to colincloud.com. Yeah. You'll see the videos, posters. It's all there. People were asking all the way through about finding out more. colincloud.com. And I'm on social media and stuff.
colincloud.com. Follow him on social media. Follow me on everything you can imagine.
Not in real life, though. That'd be
No,
creepy.
don't follow me in real life.
Don't follow her in real life. Draw the line at at Instagram.
We draw the line at social media.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, good. But thank you everyone who watched. Thank you. And we're gonna go. I'm gonna go wear all of this stuff that's hanging up. All of those clothes. Look at them.
And once again, thank you all for watching. And my next 21 questions will be with Jeff Hobson himself. And
he's a good egg. He's
such a good egg bag.
Yeah, that's why I was there.
And that's probably going to be next week, same time. So hope to see you there. I would like to thank one more time my tour buddy, Colin Cloud, to take the time to talk with us.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for having me. I'm going to go put that silly coat on so that I'm even more warm. Bye.
Ta-ta. Bye. Oh, help.
I think I learned, and we're killing it. We're almost done. Promise. This is going to be it.
Live.